rest you would have to talk to Troy about. That she got upset, said her brother was coming to look for her, and that they had to leave. That is something that you'd have to talk to Troy about. I was not there that night.
What club was that?
They, I believe, were at the Lodge. But again, you would have to confirm that with them because I've only heard what they've told me.
The Lodge?
Mm-hmm.
Where's that?
It's on Orange, across the street from Barbecue Bar.
Okay, so this... You go out that night, the second.
Yes.
Voyage, Makos, back to...
Voyage.
And then go home.
Mm-hmm.
No child.
No.
Back to the apartment, wake up, she gets up and runs out and gets a tattoo.
Mm.
Crazy Life. Or Good Life.
Good Life.
The Good Life. In Spanish.
In Italian.
In Italian.
Is what she told me. I don't know Italian or Spanish, so.
Buena vida is what it said.
Yeah.
Bueno, could be...
Could be either. They're so similar.
Yeah.
She told me it was Italian, and it meant good life.
Well, Buena vida, I'm pretty sure from listening to music and even knowing what bueno means, is Spanish. Well, you got me beat.
Maybe
I'm not fluent, but I think that's what that means.
Yeah.
We're not picking on you. It's just
I don't know any other language. I'll say that flat out.
She could have said it was German, and you guys would have.
I would have known it wasn't German. There are no little dots above things.
Yeah. So she goes and gets a tattoo. Where on the body is the tattoo?
Her shoulder.
Nice.
Pretty sure it was this shoulder.
And you saw this?
Yeah.
And you saw that. So she's got her fingernails cleaned, done up pretty, and a tattoo in the week that Tony's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Goes out partying the 2nd, the 3rd,
and the 4th.
And the
because
4th.
We had a 4th of July party.
4th of July party at Will's house, Will Waters. She tells you around that time that now the child is no longer at the beach. She's gone to SeaWorld for the weekend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think she had told me. Yeah, for the 4th of July, they were at SeaWorld. I know there were times in that week that they were at different amusement parks, like they were at Universal there, but I don't remember which days she said they were where.
So this whole week she had excuses of being at parks.
Oh, yeah. At parks or just with the nanny. Or
4th of July.
The only one I remember specific was 4th of July on SeaWorld. Yeah. I know there were plenty of other places, but I don't remember specifically what day and what place except for the 4th of July.
The 5th, morning of the 5th, Casey is happy, clicking away at the computer keys. You said
because Tony is coming.
Just
back.
Girlish and giddy.
Yes. Very, very, very annoyingly giddy. Especially
but
for
she
somebody
still kept talking to Will Waters over the phone, stringing him up.
Yeah, they hung out that whole day. And she talked to him the whole way to the airport and all the way up the elevator, or the escalator. He said that she pretty much got off. Like, he kept saying, like, don't you need to, like, get yourself in boyfriend mode? She's like, no, we'll keep talking. And granted, this is what he's telling me. But that they pretty much, until she got to, the place where the monorails are, like right where the security is, she talked to him pretty much that whole time.
Fast forward to the 8th. She drives you to the airport.
Yes.
No longer in the Jeep because boyfriend's home.
Boyfriend's home. I did not see her. I saw her on Saturday. I did not see her again until that Tuesday. We had talked, and we had already arranged, her driving my car. And then I got to Tony's place at, I want to say like 6:15-ish. Text messages can show that because she text messaged me asking where I was when I was at the 7-Eleven across the street. Just filling up, so I left her with a full tank.
So you drive over to Tony's to pick her up to take you to the airport.
Right, because she doesn't have any.
You actually pick her up.
Yeah, she doesn't have any mode of transportation at this point.
No child.
No child. So I call her when I'm outside. She comes, and comes down. Actually, no, I called her twice because I called her when I thought the gate was closed, and then I realized that the one that was letting people out was open, so I wiggled around and got in. So I drove up and, called her and let her know that I'd gotten in and I was outside. So that was probably around 6-ish, maybe slightly after 6, because my flight left at 8:10 and I wanted to be at the airport around 6:30.
So it's early.
It's weird. That's why I knew she was going to be the only person that was going to take me. That all my good friends were already gone, so you have to have a decent friend that's going to take you to the airport at 6 o'clock in the morning.
So all your clothes and a bunch of stuff's in your car. She
Yeah.
takes you, drops you off. You come back
on the 15th.
on the 15th. She picks you up.
She picks me up. I drive her back to Tony's place, and then go back to pick up Ricardo and Troy and JP from the airport. I drive back to our place, and then JP had wanted to go get the iPhone, so I went to Florida Mall with him to just go hang out because I think Florida Mall's fun. And it was there probably about maybe 20 minutes after we got to the mall that Cindy Anthony called me.
Grandma
called me and pretty much wondering where her daughter and granddaughter were. Briefly explained some of the situation, offered to come pick me up from the mall. After some deliberation, I decided to pick her up on that offer. She sounded very concerned, told me that if she did not find Casey, she would end up in jail. And
Grandma said that?
Yes. I decided to trust her.
Did you ask her why she would make a statement like that? Why?
Well, she had told me that the car had been in impound since the 30th. They had just gotten it off. She hadn't seen Caylee. She was pretty panicky.
Yeah, but why would she think her daughter would end up in jail? Did she know?
I didn't know. I mean, it kind of sounded to me like it was something to do with the car, and I don't know how long you can leave a car in impound without getting in trouble. I don't know any of that.
Okay.
All I know is the tone of voice and the fact that she was going to drive all the way to Florida Mall made me trust her. Because I've heard that tone of voice from parents before, and it's concern, and it's worry, and it's not knowing what to do. And
Did Grandma ever ask you about a smell coming from the car?
she told me about the smell in the car ride back to Tony's place. After she had picked me up from Florida Mall, she was telling me the story about, the fact that she had gotten a letter from the impound saying that the car had been impounded since the 30th. They went to go pick it up, and that the car smelled like something had died. And
Grandma tells you that?
Grandma tells me that, and at that point, I'm like, oh yeah, Casey told me she had run something over with her car. And then she proceeds to tell me, she's like, oh well, we didn't know that, but proceeds to tell me the rest of the story that the impound lot, because they didn't have the keys.
Yeah, but didn't you say that Casey blamed her dad for running something over?
Is what she told me, but
That's
we now
what she
know
told
that
you.
nothing Casey says is true.
I know, but you
Did
told
you
her
share
mom?
that information with
Right.
Grandma?
I know she said that at the time I thought she said that, she had run something over. I don't think I mentioned the dad part, but at that time, we don't know any of this is going to happen.
Did Grandma at the time start seeing like she was going down the road that baby's missing?
At that
Nasty
time,
smelling car?
well, that's what they said. And she told me the whole story after, I had mentioned that I knew about the smell. She's like, well, the impound lot didn't have the keys, so they couldn't open up the trunk. And she had told me that the smell was coming from the trunk. And Casey had talked about it coming from the engine.
Grandma told you on the 15th, smell coming from trunk.
Yes. When they went to go pick up the car from the impound lot. Once they had the keys and they opened it up, they found the pizza boxes with maggots on the inside. And we're assuming that's what the smell was. Is what she told me. In the trunk. Is what she told me.
Okay.
And also told me that Caylee's baby, that her car seat was in there, and she didn't know how Casey was getting her around. And, she just didn't know what was going on.
Anything about a squirrel? Any story about a squirrel?
Not from her mom. I think Casey, when I talked to her on the phone, mentioned that she thought it was a squirrel that was the dead thing, but it was pretty
When was
dead.
that conversation about the squirrel?
I think I called her, after that text message, I'm pretty sure I called her and talked to her while she was waiting for Tony to come pick her up. Yes, on the 27th.
So the chunk of animal.
I do
on
remember
the
her
front of the
saying
car.
squirrel, but I don't remember if that was her initial. I think maybe my dad ran over a squirrel, or if that was the confirmation that's what the dead animal was.
But
I don't.
you heard squirrel
Somewhere along the line, I did hear squirrel. And yeah, so her mom tells me that story, and just, she's beside herself in the car. She's really just trying to hold it together.
Grandma.
Yes. In that car ride, I also found out a lot about just all of the lies Casey had told. I found out about a lot of things. That's how I found out about her dad not actually having a stroke or mini stroke.